Hey everyone, welcome into week number 16. This is right, week number 16. We're doing it again. Tailgating with Chef Dave. I'm flying solo this week. Not a big deal, but we're having fun. We're talking Lions. We're talking North Carolina, the Carolina Panthers, if you will. Well, that's right. When you think of Carolina, what do you think of? Think of deviled eggs? Yeah, of course. Fried chicken, most definitely. But the number one thing everybody thinks about when they're thinking about North Carolina is barbecue. The way they do things, the way they barbecue, the fact that their barbecue is with hardwood, the fact that their barbecue is served with only vinegar-based barbecue sauces are huge to how they do things, right? So, week 16. We've really gone through a lot of different recipes on Tailgating with Chef Dave. We've had Chef Jason on. We've had J. Ralph announcing, previewing our shows for us. We've done a lot of things over the weeks, but the most important thing we've done is have a little bit of fun. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about barbecue today. That's right. We've got our pork butts. Oh, look at that bad boy. Nice Michigan raised processed pork. Michigan raised processed pork, baby back ribs. We got our smoker, old school, electric master built. This thing right here is a tailgater's delight. Trusty son of a gun right there. We're gonna go through the whole process. This is phase one, or part one, if you will, of week 16, Carolina and Detroit. We're doing barbecue Carolina style. Let's start out by talking about that rub, right? A little brown sugar, a little paprika, a little garlic, a little black pepper, some salt, you know, a couple more things. But that's pretty much it, right? A little secret this, secret that, doesn't really matter. Get your favorite dry rub, right? Get your pork butt. Right? Look at that bad boy. I mean, seriously. 10, 11 pounds of beauty. Bone in there for all that flavor, right? We're not afraid of that. When we smoke with the bone. Take that dry rub and just get it on there real good, right? I like to put the dry rub on raw, on the meat side, myself. And then on the fat side, I put the mustard. The mustard doesn't penetrate in flavor, but it helps that stick to and create a really nice crust. You know, that bark on there that you really like, right? So we kind of spread that around nice and liberally here. I like to do it on the fat side of that pork butt. And then take these gloves off here, right? Look at that. Smart man. Take that dry rub and put it on there real nice, thick. Because when this bad boy goes in that smoker, and it's gonna go in that smoker for how long? Let's talk about this. We used a hard maple wood here. We're gonna put in that electric smoker there, that master built, for about 8 to 10 hours, maybe 12 hours, at 225. We're gonna let that bad boy rock until it's about 190 degrees. At 190 degrees, we're gonna pull it out. We're gonna wrap it in foil, but before we wrap it in that foil, we're gonna introduce some pork stock. That's right, some pork stock, a little bit of pork stock, wrap it in that foil, and take it from 190 to 210, 215, 212, probably most likely. But we'll pull it out, let it rest for a couple hours, and then it's gonna pull apart, shred real nice in part two. But let's see what we got here. Let's take this thing, load up your smoker, obviously. Fat side up on this kind of smoker. When you're talking about your ribs, or you're talking about that pellet smoker that we're gonna do the baby backs on, well, that bad boy, let's set this over here. That pellet smoker that you're gonna put your baby back ribs on, right? Pellet smoker that you put your baby back ribs on is gonna be 225. These baby back ribs are gonna smoke for about 4.5, maybe 5 hours. But it's a little different, right? You don't have to smoke it as long, and there's more of a constant temperature and heat there. And on that smoker, on the pellet smoker, if you do your pork butt on the pellet smoker, I strongly suggest fat side down, because that heat is forced up, and it's forced up hard like a grill, like a gas grill, right? So there's a constant temperature heat push there, and that would really dry out the bottom of that pork, or the bottom of your brisket, or the bottom of your ribs, whatever it is. So you gotta be very, very aware of that, right? I got a pan underneath there. I got a little foil pan underneath my grate on my Traeger. That way it can kind of catch a bunch of that drippings, but it also can kind of block or balance or regulate some of that heat coming up, right? So that force of that heat coming through that electric or pellet smoker. So what I'm gonna do is take my baby back ribs, that's our second little recipe of the day. Now I don't put any mustard or anything like that on my baby back ribs. I literally take them out of the pack, Michigan ribs, Michigan pork, raised and processed right here. And I put a good amount of my dry rub on the rib on both sides to make sure that I get even coating, well, as even as I need, even as I can, if you will. And don't be shy, put a good amount on there. But don't, don't overdo it. Don't chalk it on. Boom. Flip it over. Get that side. Now I already removed the membrane, and on this Michigan pork, they removed that membrane for us over there at the factory, so it's pretty awesome. What they do that over there at the farm, if you will, or whatnot, and then bring it to us here at the shop, at the butchery. But look at that. Got 3 really nice dry rub baby back ribs that I'm gonna put in my Traeger smoker over there in this 225, about 4.5, maybe 5 hours, maybe a little less, but I'm gonna check them and bring them to about 205, and then I'm gonna pull them. That's it. Week 16, part 1, Carolina, Detroit, pulled pork, going in the smoker. We'll come back in part 2. It's about 12 hours after we get that pork all set. And baby back ribs. That's right, Tailgating with Chef Dave, YouTube. Check it out.